My girlfriend said, "I'm going to brunch with the girls," then posted stories with her ex all day. When I asked about it, she said, "You're being controlling. He's part of the friend group now." I didn't argue. That night I started making calls. Now she's finding out what happens when you lie to someone who thinks 3 moves ahead. I'm Liam, 35, operations director at a mid-sized logistics firm pulling down $75K base. Sophia, 33, marketing manager at a tech startup. We've been together 4 years, living together for 2. Wedding planned for June 15th, venue booked, save the date sent, 15K in deposits already down. We have a joint savings account with 47K for the house down payment. Her engagement ring cost me 8K, 2 months of my take-home after taxes and 401K contributions. This wasn't some college romance. We'd built something real, combined our finances, planned our future, integrated our families. Her parents called me son. My mother had already started planning grandmother duty. We weren't just dating. We were building a life. Last Saturday morning started normal. Sophia was in her usual pre-outing routine, trying on 3 outfits, settling on the first one, checking Instagram while doing her makeup. "Meeting the girls for bottomless mimosas at the rooftop," she said, kissing me goodbye. "Probably won't be back until late afternoon." Perfect. I had quarterly reports to review anyway. The promotion to senior operations director was mine if these numbers looked right. 15K salary bump, corner office, company car allowance. 4 years of 60-hour weeks, finally paying off. Around 1 p.m., her Instagram story popped up on my phone. There's Sophia, laughing at some trendy rooftop bar downtown. But it wasn't just the girls. There was Preston Walsh, her ex from college, the one she dated for 3 years, the one who broke her heart when he moved to Portland for his startup. The one who apparently moved back 8 months ago, though she forgot to mention that detail. 8 months. We'd been planning our wedding for 8 months. Same timeline. The stories kept coming. Group shots, yes, but also just them. Him adjusting her necklace, her feeding him from her plate. That specific kind of touching that's technically innocent but absolutely isn't. I screenshotted everything. 4 years in corporate operations teaches you to document everything, especially when something doesn't add up. I pulled up our Venmo history on my laptop. Joint account access meant I could see everything. Mixed in with legitimate shared expenses were some interesting transactions to Preston over the last 6 months. Wine for tonight, $120. Weekend getaway split, $400. Thanks for dinner, $80. All during times she was supposedly working late or visiting her sister in Phoenix. 6 months of lies, 6 months of late meetings and family emergencies, while I was home planning our future, researching mortgage rates, comparing honeymoon packages. Sophia got home around 5 p.m., glowing and slightly tipsy. I was on the couch, laptop open, quarterly reports spread across the coffee table like nothing had changed. How was brunch with the girls? Amazing! Becca ordered like 3 desserts and Taylor spilled mimosa all over herself. She kicked off her heels, flopped down beside me. Her dress still smelled like his cologne. Who else was there? She listed names: Sarah, Becca, Taylor, Amanda. No mention of Preston. Anyone else? Nope. Just us girls. Why? I showed her the screenshots, watched her face cycle through surprise, then annoyance, then that practiced expression of righteous indignation I'd seen her use with difficult clients. Were you stalking my stories? They're public, Sophia. Preston is part of our friend group now. The girls invited him. I didn't think it was a big deal. Friend group. Right. The same friend group that existed before he moved to Portland 3 years ago, when she cried for 2 weeks and I held her while she grieved the relationship. You literally just told me it was only girls. Because I knew you'd overreact, see? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're being controlling. He's just a friend now. We're adults. If you can't handle me having male friends, maybe you need to examine why you're so insecure. The speech felt rehearsed, like she'd practiced it, anticipated this conversation, which meant she knew exactly what she was doing when she lied to me 3 hours ago. I let her finish every word. Then I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. I am being controlling." She looked confused but pleased. "I'm glad you can see that. I'm going to grab some air. Be back in a bit." While she showered, I made 3 calls. First, to Aaron Matthews, my lawyer buddy from college who'd helped me with the house purchase contract. Second, to Brooks Thompson, who runs a moving company and owed me a favor. Third, I logged into our joint banking portal. The full Venmo history painted a clear picture. February. Thanks for the surprise. March. Phoenix was perfect. April. Can't wait for next weekend. May. This feels like old times. All to Preston, all while she was supposedly building a life with me. I didn't pack dramatically. I packed methodically. Important documents first. Birth certificate, passport, social security card, insurance policies. Then electronics, laptop, tablet, portable drive with all my work files. Then clothes. Enough for a week, maybe 2. Everything I needed immediately went into my Audi. The apartment was in both our names, but I'd been paying 70% since her promised promotion fell through last year. She contributed $800 monthly. I covered $1,850 plus utilities. The financial reality of our partnership had always been skewed, but I'd never minded. We were building something together, or so I thought. Sophia emerged from the bathroom, towel drying her hair. Didn't notice the half-empty closet, didn't notice my laptop bag missing from the home office. Didn't notice the absence of my work shoes by the front door, just asked what I wanted for dinner. Whatever you're in the mood for, I said. I'm easy. We ordered Thai food from our usual place. Watched Netflix on the couch we'd picked out together last fall. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder like nothing had happened, like she hadn't spent the afternoon with her ex while lying to my face, like our entire relationship wasn't built on a foundation that was crumbling in real time. I stayed up thinking about 4 years, $62K in combined deposits and shared investments, and the life insurance policies where we'd named each other as beneficiaries. About the vacation days I'd requested for our honeymoon, the suit I'd ordered for the wedding, the speech I'd been writing for the reception. At 5 a.m. I finished packing. Left a note on the kitchen counter. You're right, I am being controlling, so I'm removing myself from the equation. Take a week to think about what you want. We'll talk next Friday. I drove to Brooke's place in the pre-dawn darkness. He'd been through a messy divorce 2 years ago, understood the value of strategic retreat, had a guest room and, more importantly, knew when to ask questions and when to just hand you coffee and let you think. My phone started blowing up around 8 a.m. What the hell, Liam? You can't just leave. Where are you? This is so immature. We need to talk about this like adults. I'm calling your office if you don't respond. That last one got my attention. Threatening my workplace was a line I hadn't expected her to cross. I forwarded the text to Aaron, then turned my phone to silent. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I called Aaron back. I need to understand my options, I told him. Lease is joint, but I've got 6 months of Venmo evidence showing her paying Preston for expenses while lying about her whereabouts. Wedding deposits are from my account. Engagement ring was $8K. Jesus, Liam, what are you thinking long-term here? I'm thinking I need to know where I stand legally before I make any decisions. Can you meet today? Come in at 2 p.m., bring everything. Lease documents, bank statements, those Venmo records, any communication threads. And Liam, don't respond to her until we talk. By noon, I had compiled everything into a digital folder. Screenshots of the Instagram stories with timestamps. Venmo transaction history going back 8 months. Text message threads showing her sister visits to Phoenix that coincided with Preston's business trips. Information I'd pulled from his still public LinkedIn posts about client meetings that never seemed to happen in Phoenix. Sophia had updated her Facebook relationship status to "It's complicated" by the time I reached Aaron's office. She'd also posted a long statement about toxic masculinity and controlling partners who can't handle strong women having meaningful friendships. The comments were predictable. Her sorority sisters rallying around her, mutual friends confused but offering support, co-workers expressing concern about her situation. Then I noticed something interesting. Preston hadn't liked or commented on any of it. Neither had anyone from his side of their old friend group. This is actually good for us, Aaron said after reviewing everything. She's creating a public record of refusing to communicate privately while making accusations. Judges don't like that. I did some digging while Aaron reviewed the financial documents. Preston's Instagram was still public, and according to his posts, he'd been dating someone named Monica Pierce for 10 months. A real estate agent with Century 21 looked professional and happy, plenty of couple photos from their apparent vacation to Cabo in March. The same weekend Sophia had told me she was visiting her sick aunt in Phoenix. The timeline was becoming clear. Preston moved back in February, started seeing Monica seriously around the same time, reconnected with Sophia in April, had been playing both relationships for 6 months. I sent Monica a simple LinkedIn message. "Hi, you don't know me, but I think we should talk. I'm Liam Henderson, Sophia Martinez's fiancé, or was. Something tells me we have a lot in common. Can we meet for coffee?" She responded within 2 hours. Wednesday, 10 a.m., Starbucks on Pine Street. And yes, I think we do. Aaron reviewed my evidence folder while I handled the social media investigation. "This is strong," he said, "really strong. We can file for immediate separation of assets, cite her public statements as evidence of irreparable harm to your reputation and career. But I want to wait until after you meet with this Monica person. If she has additional evidence, it only strengthens our position." "What's the timeline for filing?" "Emergency hearing can be scheduled within 5 to 7 business days. With this documentation and her public defamation campaign, we have grounds for expedited processing. Do it. Prepare everything. I'll let you know what Monica says Wednesday." That evening, I posted once on social media. No long explanation, no emotional appeals. Just disappointed by how some people handle ending relationships. Character shows in difficult moments. Simple, professional, taking the high road while everyone could see Sophia's Facebook drama playing out in real time. Sophia called 15 times that night. I let them go to voicemail, saved each one. The progression was telling, starting with anger, shifting to bargaining, ending with threats. The last voicemail was the most enlightening. "You bastard, you had no right to post that passive-aggressive bullshit. You're trying to make me look crazy. This is exactly the controlling behavior I'm talking about. Everyone can see what you really are now." I forwarded it to Aaron with a note. Evidence of harassment and admission that her Facebook post was directed at me specifically. Tuesday at work was surreal. I'd taken a personal day Monday to handle the situation. Told my boss I had a family emergency that might require legal attention. Corporate America understands lawyers and protects its own when someone's handling things professionally. But word had somehow gotten around. Sarah from accounting mentioned she'd seen the Facebook drama and asked if I was okay. Mike from operations said his wife had shown him Sophia's post and wanted to know if there was anything he could do. The fact that my personal life had become office gossip was exactly what Aaron had warned about. Professional reputation damage from her public accusations. Every conversation felt loaded. Every glance from colleagues felt like judgment or pity. I focused on work, reviewed the quarterly reports that seemed meaningless now, and prepared talking points for my Wednesday meeting with Monica. By Tuesday evening, I had a clear strategy. Gather information, document everything, let Aaron handle the legal implications. Brooks brought dinner and beer when I got back to his place. "How are you holding up?" "Honestly, I keep waiting to feel something. Anger, sadness, betrayal. But mostly I just feel analytical, like I'm solving a work problem." "That's probably healthy. Or you're in shock. Maybe both." We sat on his back porch, drinking beer and watching his neighbor's kids play basketball in the driveway. Normal life continuing around the collapse of mine. "What do you think you'll do if the evidence shows what you think it shows?" Brooks asked. "Same thing I'd do if a business partner had been embezzling. Cut ties, protect my assets, move forward." That simple? I thought about it for a long moment. Has to be. Wednesday morning, I arrived at Starbucks 15 minutes early. Monica was already there, 2 cups in front of her. Tall, professional, the kind of straightforward presence you immediately trust in business meetings. "Black coffee," she said, sliding one across. "Preston mentioned you don't do sugar." "Preston talks about me?" "Oh, he talks about you a lot. The controlling ex-fiancé who made Sophia miserable, the reason she needed emotional support, the insecure guy who couldn't handle her having male friends." Monica's laugh was bitter. "According to him, you were the villain in their love story." I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots from Saturday. This was supposed to be a girls-only brunch. Monica stared at the photos for a long moment, her expression shifting from curiosity to recognition to something that looked like relief. "He told me he was helping his cousin move furniture on Saturday. Had to cancel our afternoon plans." She pulled out her own phone. "I've been tracking his location for insurance purposes. We share a car policy for better rates. He was at the rooftop from noon to 5 p.m., just like your screenshots show." We sat in silence for a moment, 2 people realizing we'd been played by professionals. How long do you think this has been going on? I asked. At least 6 months, maybe longer. I found hotel receipts from Phoenix in March when I was organizing our tax documents. He said it was a business trip for his consulting work, but his client roster doesn't include anyone in Arizona. Monica slid a flash drive across the table. Bank statements, receipts, text message screenshots from his iPad that syncs to our home computer. My lawyer said you might need documentation if this goes legal. You already have a lawyer? Hired one Tuesday morning after I saw Sophia's Facebook post. She's painting you as some kind of controlling abuser while she's been having an affair with my boyfriend for months. That's not just cheating, that's coordinated deception. I opened my laptop and reviewed Monica's files. The evidence was damning. Phoenix hotel stays that coincided with Sophia's family visits. Restaurant receipts from expensive places during Preston's supposed client dinners. Most importantly, text messages between Preston and Sophia dating back 6 months, recovered from his iPad backup. Richard, last night was incredible. Liam is working late again Thursday. I miss how we used to be. Soon, baby. After I figure out the Monica situation. Cabo was perfect. Felt like we never broke up. Can't wait until we don't have to sneak around anymore. The messages painted a clear picture. This wasn't some spontaneous reconnection. They'd been planning to end both relationships and get back together. Sophia's engagement to me and Preston's relationship with Monica were just obstacles to manage until the timing was right. Jesus, I muttered, scrolling through months of evidence. They had it all planned out. Gets worse, Monica said. Check the folder labeled Travel. They've been planning a trip to Europe for July, right after your wedding date. The travel documents showed flight confirmations and hotel bookings for Barcelona, purchased 3 weeks ago with Preston's credit card. 2 weeks after Sophia and I had sent our final head count to the wedding venue. We compared timelines for another hour. Every late work meeting Sophia had mentioned corresponded to a night Preston told Monica he was visiting his sick father in Sacramento. Every weekend, I'd been told Sophia was having sister bonding time, matched with Preston's supposed consulting trips. The coordination was impressive in its thoroughness. They'd created entirely separate lives, complete with fictional supporting characters and manufactured emergencies. What's your plan? Monica asked as we prepared to leave. My lawyer's filing for emergency separation of assets Friday. With this evidence, plus her public defamation campaign, we should get a quick hearing. Good. Preston doesn't know I found any of this yet. I'm keeping it that way until my lawyer tells me otherwise. Monica hugged me as we left. We're going to survive this, she said. It'll hurt for a while, but we'll come out stronger. I drove back to Brooks's place with a plan and enough evidence to end this cleanly. Called Aaron from the car. The Monica meeting was productive. I'm sending you a drive full of evidence that makes our case airtight. What kind of evidence? 6 months of coordinated affair documentation. Hotel receipts, restaurant bills, travel bookings for after our wedding date, text messages, planning their reunion timeline. Holy shit, Liam. This isn't just infidelity, it's fraud. They were running a long-term con on both relationships. Can we file tomorrow? I'll have everything ready by 3 p.m. This evidence changes our strategy. We're not just seeking asset separation anymore. We're documenting systematic deception for potential civil damages. That evening, I did something I'd been avoiding. I looked at our shared Google Calendar, the one we'd use to coordinate our life together. Wedding venue walkthrough, cake tasting, bachelor party planning, honeymoon research. 4 months of future events that would never happen, built on lies Sophia had been telling while planning her real future with Preston. I deleted everything from June forward. It felt like erasing a life that had never actually existed. My phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. We need to talk. I know you're hurt, but running away isn't solving anything. I love you. We can work through this. I screenshot the message and forwarded it to Aaron. After 6 months of elaborate deception, she was still trying to manipulate the narrative, still positioning herself as the reasonable one trying to save the relationship while I was being dramatic. For the first time since Saturday, I responded, my lawyer will be in touch. All communication should go through him from now on. Her response came immediately. Are you seriously involving lawyers over a misunderstanding? This is insane. I didn't reply. Turned off my phone and sat on Brooks's back porch looking at the city lights and thinking about the difference between the life I thought I was building and the one that actually existed. Tomorrow, Aaron would file papers that would legally end 4 years of my life. But tonight, for the first time since Saturday morning, I felt clear about something. This wasn't about punishment or revenge. It was about protecting myself from people who could lie to my face for months while planning their real life together. Sophia was right about one thing. We were adults. And adults document things, protect their assets, and don't waste time on relationships that were built on fiction from the beginning. Aaron filed the papers Friday afternoon. Emergency petition for separation of assets, citing systematic deception, public defamation, and evidence of coordinated fraud. The hearing was scheduled for the following Wednesday, 5 business days, exactly what he'd predicted. Over the weekend, I did something I hadn't done in months. I focused entirely on work, reviewed the quarterly projections, analyzed supply chain inefficiencies, prepared presentations for next week's board meeting. The promotion announcement was coming Monday, and despite everything falling apart in my personal life, my professional performance had been flawless. Sophia tried calling Saturday morning. When I didn't answer, she showed up at Brooks's place. "I know you're in there, Liam. Your car's in the driveway." Brooks answered the door. "He doesn't want to talk to you." "This is ridiculous. We're adults. We can work this out without lawyers." "Ma'am, you need to leave. He's been clear about communication going through legal channels." "Brooks, come on. You've known me for 2 years. This isn't who I am." "Actually, it's exactly who you are. That's the problem." After she left, Brooks brought me coffee. She seemed genuinely confused about why you won't talk to her. That's the scariest part. I don't think she believes she did anything really wrong. Monday brought good news and validation. The promotion was official. Senior Operations Director, $90K salary, corner office, company car allowance. My boss, Patricia Collins, called me into her office after the announcement. "Congratulations. The board was impressed with your handling of the Q2 logistics crisis and your professionalism during what I understand has been a difficult personal situation. Thank you. I appreciate the discretion. Corporate life teaches you that personal character shows up in professional performance. You've handled this with class, and that matters at this level." That afternoon, I moved into my new office and called Aaron with an update. Sophia's lawyer reached out. They want to negotiate a private settlement. "What kind of settlement?" "They're acknowledging the evidence is problematic for her, offering to split wedding deposits 50-50, void the joint lease, and have her retract the social media statements in exchange for no civil damages pursuit." "What do you think?" "I think they're scared. Monica's evidence shows this wasn't just an affair, it was systematic fraud with financial implications. They know if this goes to hearing, it becomes public record." "I want the hearing. This needs to be settled officially." "Good, because I think we win big." Tuesday evening, Monica called with news. "Preston's moving out tomorrow. I gave him 24 hours to explain the evidence, and he couldn't. Tried to claim you fabricated the text messages." "How are you holding up?" "Angry, but also relieved. Turns out I've been dating a stranger for 10 months. Better to find out now than after we moved in together next month." "Next month?" "We were supposed to sign a lease this weekend for a place downtown. Guess that's not happening." The hearing was Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. I wore my best suit, brought the evidence binder Aaron had prepared, and felt more like I was going to a board meeting than ending my engagement. Sophia showed up 20 minutes late with Preston, because of course she did. She wore black like she was in mourning, trying to project vulnerability. Preston looked like he hadn't slept. Judge Patricia Hoffman was exactly what you'd want in this situation. No nonsense, experienced, the kind of person who's heard every possible story and knows manipulation when she sees it. Aaron laid it out methodically. "Your Honor, this isn't a standard relationship dissolution. The respondent conducted a systematic 6-month deception involving financial fraud, coordinated lies to multiple parties, and when confronted, launched a public defamation campaign while refusing private mediation. He presented the evidence chronologically, the lease with financial contribution records, Monica's documentation of the coordinated affair, the Barcelona travel bookings scheduled for after our wedding date, Sophia's Facebook posts calling me controlling and abusive. The look on Sophia's face when Aaron played our text exchange where she called legal involvement insane over a misunderstanding. Her lawyer tried the standard arguments about emotional distress, about my inability to handle her having male friends, about disproportionate legal response to relationship difficulties. Judge Hoffman cut him off. "Counselor, your client has publicly accused Mr. Henderson of emotional abuse, a serious allegation. Yet the evidence shows she was conducting a coordinated extramarital relationship for 6 months while accepting $15,000 in wedding expenses from him and planning a separate vacation with her affair partner. That's not emotional distress, that's fraud. The judgment was swift and comprehensive. Immediate separation of all shared assets based on contribution percentages. Sophia to remove all defamatory social media posts within 24 hours and post a public retraction. $3,500 in legal fees to be paid by her within 30 days. Joint lease voided with no penalty to me. Most importantly, the court finding of systematic deception with financial implications went into public record, protecting my reputation and creating legal precedent if she tried this again. Outside the courthouse, Preston tried to approach me. Look, man, I know this seems bad, but you have to understand. Save it. How's Monica, by the way? His face went blank. What? She's doing great. Changed the locks, kept the car, forwarded your text to her lawyer. Turns out she doesn't appreciate systematic lies either. Preston looked at Sophia, panic in his eyes. You said they never talked to each other. They didn't. Until Saturday. Funny how truth has a way of coming out. Sophia grabbed Preston's arm. We need to leave. As they walked away, I heard her hiss. You said this would be simple. That was a week ago. Since then, Sophia's social media has gone completely private after posting the court-ordered retraction. Preston blocked me on everything, apparently dealing with his own legal situation with Monica. The apartment is mine again. I'm having it professionally cleaned and repainted. New furniture arrives Friday. Starting fresh in the space we shared makes more sense than moving and starting over somewhere else. Brooks helped me return the engagement ring yesterday. The jeweler was understanding about the circumstances, refunded $6,200 of the original $8,000. Some of the wedding deposits are recoverable, others aren't. Total financial loss, approximately $12,000. Expensive lesson, but I've learned more expensive ones in business. Tonight, I'm in my new office, looking at the city lights through floor-to-ceiling windows. The promotion I'd worked toward for 3 years finally happened during the worst week of my personal life. Life doesn't pause for heartbreak, and that's probably for the best. Sophia was right about one thing. Relationships do change people. They show you who people really are when stakes get high. Sometimes the person you thought you loved never existed at all. They were just better at pretending than you were at seeing through the performance. To anyone who might read this story, document everything, trust your instincts, protect your assets, and remember that mature love requires honesty. Everything else is just expensive theater. The story's over. I won, if you can call it winning. Right now, I just feel free, and that's enough.